Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi WordPress theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, somebody dropped a question into one of our YouTube videos asking us to explain how something was done. They'd come across somebody else's blog showing a Divi theme with some thumbnails that scroll. I've done one here just to demonstrate. Great for demoing websites and stuff like that. When you put your mouse over it, it just scrolls down a long image like that. They said they couldn't get it to work. And they asked me if I could check it out and explain it. Well, as you can see, it works absolutely fine. And full credit's got to go to the original writer of this, which is a gentleman by the name of Craig Longmuir. And I'll put the link to his original post below this video. And he provided some CSS code and a demo. And like I said, the chap that asked the question said he couldn't get it to work. So I'm going to run through it and see if I can perhaps make it a little easier for him to understand. So I've got a site here. I'm logged in. Let's enable our visual builder. Obviously, it's a Divi site. Okay, now we've got the builder going. Let's scroll down and create another row. There's that little button we made in the last video with the text effect. So we want to hit this little blue button here, create another section, a regular section. Inside that section, I'm going to make it 3 columns. You can make it whatever you want. I'm going to use 3 because I happen to have 3 photos prepared to do this with. Now I'm not going to put anything inside, so we don't need this little box here. When this box opens, just click X and get rid of it. What we need to do is put some background images in the back of each of these columns here. I've prepared some images, and your images, well, you want to make sure they're nice and long, so when it displays it can scroll down and people have got something to see. Mine are actually 500 by 1237. You don't really have to have them quite that big, just as long as they're big enough to cover the back of your boxes there. Or your columns, I should say. Now, if I hit this little cog to edit this section, we want to hit the background. We're on Content tab. We want to hit the background. And we don't want to do the main background. We want to do column 1 background, column 2 background, and column 3 background. I may as well, I guess, do them all while I'm here. So you've got color, gradient, image, video. So I'm going to hit on image. I'm going to add a background image. I'm just going to pull across one of my images that I had here. In fact, I'm going to pull 3 across, but of course we only want to select one of them. So I've pulled in 3 images here. And we have to do these one at a time. So I'm going to select the one that I want, which is that one first. Hit upload. There it is. It's in the background. It doesn't look like much, and the reason it doesn't look like much is I'll explain in a moment. Now I want to go down to the next one and do the same thing. Add a background image. So add this one. And keep going. Number 3. Add that 3rd image there. Oh, I got a color. I want an image. There it is right there. Okay, so like I say, you're not seeing much. If I just move that out of the way a little bit, because there's no actual height to those columns at the moment. And Craig kindly provided the CSS that we're using here. And if you look at it, it's already saying that we've got to give our columns a CSS class of scrollme, and he's told it that it's got to have a minimum height of 250 pixels. So that's going to fix this problem of it not being high enough. It'll make it minimum height of 250 pixels, which means you'll be able to see something. Now let's just go back and make these images how we want them. At the moment, the default, well, cover's okay, but we don't want them in the center. We want them aligned sort of top left. So the top of the picture is aligned in the top left corner. So the rest of the picture is, you can't see it, but it's scrolling down behind there. And let's keep going. We want to do the same thing for the next one. Top left. And obviously the same thing for the last one here. Now, as I said before, we want to give these a CSS class of scrollme, because that's what he's called it. You can call it anything you want, but he's called his scrollme, and this is what we're using. So I'm going to just copy scrollme. I'll put this code below also, and you can also find it on Craig Longmuir's original post. Now we want to go to Advanced, Custom CSS IDs and Classes. And we want to give that all of our columns. And it's a class, it's not an ID, it's a CSS class. So column 1 class, I'm just going to paste it in there. Column 2 CSS class, paste it in there. And column 3 CSS class. There we go. So they have all now got the class of scrollme. So you're thinking, well, they don't look like anything. Well, we haven't used that code. We haven't put it in there. So let's just save this. Now what we need to do is grab all of this CSS code here. And I'm not going to go through it in detail. He's done everything we need to do to make it scroll how we need it. Once you hover, it's going to do these transitions and recenter that image at the bottom rather than the top, which will make it scroll down the bottom. So anyway, I've selected that, want to copy it. Now we need to go to our dashboard. I want to go down to Divi, Theme Options. On the General tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom to find the Custom CSS box, which is right here. You can also do this in the Theme Customizer tab, but we're going to do it this way. Drop that down a couple, return. Let's give it a title. Always like to give it a title, // // That way, if you write lots of lines of CSS like I do, it's easier to find. So give it a descriptive title, scrolling image. Then we've got Craig's code over here. I want to make sure we copy it. And let's paste it in here. Drop down one more. Control V to copy. There it is, right there. So let's hit the Save Changes button till we get our nice green check mark. There it is. Okay, let's go back to the site. Now you'd think when we refresh this will all magically appear, but for some reason it doesn't. And this may be where the chap that contacted me about this was having the problem. See, there's still no height to this. So I think what we've got to do is go back to that CSS and just force it. Where it says minimum height there, I'm going to click on just after the X and before the semicolon. I'm going to force it with important, which is ! IMPORTANT. Now you don't want to use important unless you have to, but I think this is one of those times where we have to. So there it is, important. Save our changes. Now let's go back to the site and do a refresh and see what happens. There we go. There's our little boxes. They're now forced to be 250 pixels tall with minimum height. Now, when you put your mouse over them, they nicely scroll to the bottom of the image. And the gentleman also asked me, what sort of images do you use with this? Well, as I said before, they want to be long and thin, Mine were, as I said earlier, I think 500 by about 1200 pixels. As long as they're wide enough to cover the area of your box, or if they're not wide enough, just hit the cover button. And like I say, they're ideal for showing off long websites like that, or showing off fashion, perhaps like this one. Or here's one with a lovely beach. And what I've done, I've put a call to action button at the bottom here. And you may ask, why have you done that? Because you can't click on it. It doesn't do anything. And if we go and edited it, you can't do anything with it either. Because there's no way of adding a link. Well, with Divi, there's no way of adding a link to an actual column here. Haha. Well, let's take this one step further and let's do this. We can fake it. We can make Divi think there's something there. So let's enable our visual builder again. And go down here. Now let's make this go to a section. And this fashion one, this one really, I should have worked on that one really, and we could make it go to this fashion section right there. What else have we got on this page that I can link to more? Let's link to perhaps this section right here. So I'm going to click on its little cog and see if it's actually got an ID. So I go to Advanced, CSS ID and Classes. No, it hasn't. So let's give this an ID, not a class, but an ID. Just like we did with that last button video. Gosh, I don't know what to call it. Well, I'll just call it blurb. How's that? Well, there may be a class of blurb. We'll say blurb 1. Because classes, IDs have to be unique. Classes you can have the same, a bunch of same ones. But we're going to call this blurb 1, which I think is probably unique. Okay, so we know that's now got an ID. I'm sorry if I just said classes. I meant ID. Make sure it's an ID and not a class. ID. Okay. And let's go back up. Now what we need to do, if we go into here, there's actually nothing there. So if we go into our little cog icon, there's a link, but that's going to link all of these, the whole row. And I don't want to do that. What I'm going to show you now is going to have different links. So that's no good to us whatsoever. So let's close that. And anybody that can correct me if they find a way of doing that with a column, I certainly don't know it, and I'm pretty used to working with Divi. What we're going to do, we're going to add some text. So I just hit the little plus icon. It's going to scroll down. Let's find a little text element. There we are. Okay, that didn't seem to put it in there. Let's do that one more time. There we go. There's our text element. Okay, what I want to do, you can see that in there. You can vaguely see that text there. And when it scrolls to the bottom, I want that text to go down to almost the bottom of that button there. And you might be saying, well, that looks pretty ugly. So let's copy this and just paste it a couple of times. It's junk text anyway. I don't want to make it any longer than the box because it'll push the box down further unless we give it a max height. But we don't want to do that. So as you can see, that text is covering that button. Now what we can do is the fun part. Well, I hope you can see that. Let's just make that text a light color so you can actually see it. There we go. Now, if I hover over that, when that button gets here, text covers it. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to make this text a link that you can click on. That way you'll be able to click on that button and go somewhere. It's going on a bit this video, I apologize. So what we want to do now is I've got a color, let's give it a custom color. I'm going to take the opacity or opacity all the way down so it's transparent. So you can no longer see it. It's still there, but you can no longer see it. Now if we go back to the content, now we've got somewhere we can put a link. And we've got a CSS ID here. Now, we called it blurb1, didn't we? So it's an ID, which is always a hashtag, and it's blurb1, I believe. So let's save that. Let's save our changes. Once it's saved, let's exit the Visual Builder and see if this actually works. Scroll down. Here it is. And you can see already we've got that hand icon, which means something's clickable here. So when you click on the Let's Go button, boom, takes us down to our blurbs here. Fantastic, just what we wanted. And well, let's do this quickly. Let's easily make the other ones clickable as well. Enable the Visual Builder one more time. This is just expanding on Craig's idea here, just to make these a little more useful. They're wonderful for demonstrating scrolling sites if you're a web designer like myself. In fact, I'll probably use this on a project. Okay, what I want to do is I want to duplicate this. And as you can see, it's made it longer. So let's just pull this one over here, put it inside here. Edit it. I know this is down here. It's called specials, I'm pretty sure. I'll just double check. Yeah, it's got the ID of special. So all we need to do is edit this and edit the link. Which is below the content. And go to specials. Opening in the same window. Save that one. Now this one, let's make this one a little bit different. Let's make this one actually link to this website. So let's, again, copy that, the two little squares there. And let's pull it down bigger than we need it. Put it across, put it inside this one. Let me just grab the link for this website. Okay, so I've got that. Now let's edit this one. Hit the cog. Down below the content, link. Put my URL in here, which this time is a regular URL. And this time I want it to open it in a different window or in a new tab. So let's save that. Save our changes. Hit the little purple button again. Hit save. And when it's saved, we can exit our Visual Builder. Okay, let's see what we got here, then we can wrap up this video. So we know this one, don't have to wait for it to get down to the button, just to do it for effect. If I'd have spent more time on this, I could have got the button right in the middle there, but that's okay. If that one works, that one takes us to our blurbs. This one right here, there's no button on it, but I could put a button on there. Click on it, takes you to your sales specials. This one should open a new tab and show us this actual website. So let's click. There it is. So I hope that's answered your question and sorted that little issue out. Thanks go once again to Craig for writing this blog initially. And I don't know if anything's changed in Divi that stopped that CSS from working, but all you need to do is add that important class. So I hope you found that useful. If you have, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're interested in web design, take a look below. We've got some awesome courses, both free and premium, with some huge discounts for our YouTube subscribers, so do take a look. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.